everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J here with a review using the Urban Decay X Game of Thrones eyeshadow palette. Before we start this video, I want to give a special shout out to Mel Thompson because she gave me this palette. And if you guys knew what I went through to get this video up, let me tell you real quick. So I didn't order it on Urban Decay. Of course, it sold out really fast. One of my girls from Sephora told me that they had it there and I would be able to get it the same day that it launched on urbandecay.com. But of course, they have stipulations that she did not know about, so I was unable to get it. So I was like, it's cool. She didn't know. I placed an order on Macy's. They canceled my palette. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because Sephora didn't come out online with this palette until April 29th. I was going out of town around this time. And then it wasn't going to come out in stores until May 2nd. So Mel so generously offered me hers. And she was like, you know what? I'm not a big fan of Game of Thrones. You can actually have the palette. So I was like, thank you, girl. I was so touched. I had all these plans to get this video up ahead of time. I drove an hour to meet her to get this palette. And so I had my video done and ready to go. And guess what happened on top of all that other stuff? That file was corrupt. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this get me down because I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work harder. But to stay optimistic, at least my eye looks that I filmed using this palette were able to be saved. I did not record an eye look for this look that I have today. I do have the details of it down in the description box because, listen, but I'm here. I'm still excited to do this video, but I just had to let you all know because sometimes I just got to break it down to you. So now let's get into the details. So I have not had a chance to pick up the other pieces from this collection yet, and I'm not sure that I want anything else. The main thing that I wanted was this palette. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, so when I saw that they were launching this, I knew I had to get it. Here's the box for the palette. As you guys can see, it is a collector's piece. It says Game of Thrones, Urban Decay, and the imagery on the box has the Iron Throne. You all can see this is a pretty sizable box, so you all can only imagine how big the palette is, right? Here is the actual palette. This palette is pretty substantial. It has a little bit of weight to it. It looks like a collector's piece. You would definitely display this if you're a big Game of Thrones fan like I am. Of course, this palette is limited edition and it retails for $65. And so to me, the packaging reminds me of like a DVD box set. There is a mirror here and there's also a quote. It says Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on a wheel. This one's on top, then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. And that is a quote from Daenerys Targaryen, Kelsee herself. I want to show it to you guys without blinding you. So let me cover up this mirror. So as you guys can see, the quote is here and you can lift this up and it has a pop-up Iron Throne. I love that. That is so cute. There's also another little quote in here. This one says, never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor and it can never be used to hurt you. And that is by Tyrion Lannister. So now I know you guys are like, so where are the eyeshadows? The eyeshadows are in the bottom like a drawer, so you pull it out. The good thing about having a drawer of eyeshadows is that you do not have to hold this heavy palette to use the eyeshadows in the palette. And this is what they look like, as you guys can see. So the description of this palette says that it is an arsenal of 20 eyeshadow shades that you can use to declare your allegiance to House Targaryen, to House Lannister, or to House Stark, or to defeat the White Walkers. So it says that this is inspired by the strong women of the Seven Kingdoms. These jewel tones and earthy neutrals give way to dark metallics and frosty shimmers. They can all be customized with the 4 transformer shades. So there are a mix of finishes in this palette. There's matte finishes, there's metallics, there are satins, and then there are iridescent micro shimmer eyeshadows. So as you guys can see, there are 16 smaller eyeshadows up here, and then there are 4 larger pan eyeshadows. So in the smaller pans, there's 0.03 ounces of product, and in the larger pans down here, there are 0.05 ounces of product. This palette is separated by different themes. So this column has the Targaryen theme. This palette has the Lannister theme, so it has names in here called Casterly Rock. This column has a Winterfell theme, so it has an eyeshadow called Winterfell in here. It's an eyeshadow called Nymeria. Denona in here. There's an eyeshadow called Winter is Here. And the last column has a Night King icy type feel. So there's a color in here called White Walker. So I like how each column has a different theme and you can create different looks using each column, which is what I'm going to do in the demonstration. So I did 4 different looks, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into these looks, and then make sure you stay tuned until the end and I will tell you guys my final thoughts on this palette. Enjoy. So I'm going to take a flat shader brush. This is a MAC 247 and the color Bend the Knee. And with that brush, I'm just going to apply this all over the lid. So I'm just going to pack it on. So I'm just going to continue to pack this color on until it's pretty opaque. Dipping into this color several times. And as you guys can see, this color is pretty sheer. It does have shimmer particles, so I do want to bump it up. So I'm going to take this on a brush. Go ahead and spray that brush. I'm just going to apply this now foiled. Yes, and that gave us a lot more color impact. So I'm just going to continue to apply this on the lid and then blend it up towards the crease. Same brush, and I'm going to take the color Bay of Dragons. And I just went ahead and sprayed that color just to foil it, and I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. The same brush, let's go ahead and pop that on the lower inner corner as well. Same brush, and I'm going to take the color Stormborn. And the brush is still slightly damp from the other 2 colors, which will work in our advantage with this one because it's still a shimmer. I am going to apply this on the very outer corner and then blend it with the color on the lid and then blend it up towards the crease. So just take your time applying this color. I'm just going to pack to build it up. So it's taking a minute to build up the pigmentation of this color, but I'm just going to continue packing. I am getting a bit of fallout here, so I'll have to clean that up, but it's slowly but surely coming together. And I'm going to go back with a little bit of the lighter purple Bend the Knee just to re-blend it, make sure that there's no harsh lines on my eyes. And make sure everything is flawlessly fused together. Taking a Wayne Goss pencil brush. This is a 05 brush. I'm going to go into the color House Targaryen. And I'm going to pop that right in the middle. And same brush, I'm going to go in with the color Dothraki. And let's apply that right on the rest of the lower lash line and connect it to the top. So now I'm going to add some liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so here's the first look using the first column. So I'm going to go in with an Envision 02 brush and the color House Lannister. And I'm going to pop this above my crease as my transition color. Taking the same brush, I'm going to dip into the color Lannister Red. And I am going to take this directly in the crease right up underneath House Lannister. And I'm going to take that same color on the very outer corner and pack it on. Now I'm going to take a Bdellium 773 brush in the color King's Landing. Very carefully, I am going to pop this color right underneath my brow. Take that same color and same brush, and I'm going to pop that on the inner corner, on the top and the bottom. And pop. Same brush, and I'm going to take the color Red Keep, and I'm going to pop that on this empty space on the lid. Make sure it's blended with the inner tear duct color, as well as the color on the outer corner and up towards the crease, but not in the crease. And Wayne Goss 27S synthetic haired brush, I'm going to take the color Casterly Rock and apply that on the rest of the lower lash line. So I'm going to clean up my eye, add some mascara and liner, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so here is the finished look using this column. Wayne Goss number 18 blending brush in the color Nymeria. And I'm going to pop this right above my crease. This is going to be my transition color. So let's just blend this color right on out. So back and forth and buff it in. So this is how it should look once it's blended out. Sonia G Builder 3 and Weirwood Leaves. Very carefully, I am going to apply this color all over my lid. So I'm just going to take my time and build up this color. It's going to be my outer corner color as well as my lid color. I am going to leave a little bit of space on the inner tear duct just because I do want to put a highlight there. So I'm just going to use packing motions. And I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is a pencil brush by Tom Ford in the color Winterfell. I automatically sprayed this simply because I already have used this color before. I know that it's chunkier. And by spraying it, you're going to get a flatter, more vivid application. Let's just go ahead and pop that on the inner corner. And I'm going to pop down the inner corner on the top, as well as right here on the bottom inner corner. With the same brush, I'm going to dip into the color The Sight. And I'm going to go ahead and spray that. And I'm going to pop this color on the middle of the lower lash line. So ending it off, I'm going to take the color Winter Is Here. And with that same brush, apply that right on the very outer corner and drag it around to meet it to the top. Super pretty. So here's my finished eye look with this column. So I'm going to take a blending brush. This is a Tom Ford number 13 brush in the color Frozen North. And I am going to take this color in my crease. So just blend it out. It's pretty pigmented, so I would go in slow. I probably put a little bit too much initially, but that's all right. So I'm concentrating it in the crease, and then I am slowly bringing it up to diffuse that product out. Same brush, and I'm going to go in with the color Take the Black. And I am going to take this color right on the very outer corner and blend it up. A lot of the glitter that you see in matte glitter eyeshadows goes away unless you spray the brush, and it helps to make the glitter stick. But other than that, once you apply it, the glitter is out of here. So now I'm going to go in with an Esom G27 brush in the color Hard Home. And very, very carefully, I'm going to apply this right underneath my brow. Same brush, let's pick up the color White Walker. And I'm going to apply that on the inner corner and blend it over. So I also went ahead and applied some on the lower inner corner. So now I'm going to take the same brush in the color Free Folk. And as you all see, I do have a space here that I left open. And just pop this color right in that space. And make sure to blend it. So blend it over here. So slightly feather it this way. Blend it this way. So slightly feather it that way. And then once you feel comfortable in that blend, then just continue to pack this color on to make it fully opaque. With a small detailer brush, this is a MAC 228. I'm going to go back with the color Take the Black. Carefully apply this color all across the lower lash line. Make sure to connect it to the top. So I'm just going to apply this color and then diffuse it out. Alright, liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. So here's the finished eye look for this column. So I hope that you all enjoyed the 4 eye looks that I did using this palette. I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on some of my favorite characters on the show really quickly. I thought it would be really fun to do that. So I have 7 here, and I know you're like, 7? Especially if you don't watch the show. But if you watch the show, then you'll know that there's a lot of characters on there that will grab your heart. Now, all of these characters are not people that are heartwarming people. I like everybody for different reasons. So my 7th person is Tyrion Lannister, and I really enjoy his wittiness. I really like having him on the show because he has a lot of heart. Number 6 is Briana of Tarte. I think Briana is super noble, and I like that she is a woman of her word. Number 5 is Jon Snow, and I think that Jon Snow pretty much is everybody's favorite, and I like Jon Snow, but because he's such a good guy, I know that he's predictable. He's gonna be the hero, so he's not necessarily my favorite character because of that. Like, I care about him, but that doesn't necessarily make him my favorite. Number 4 is Olenna Tyrell, and I love a good matriarch. I love somebody that knows what they want. She had a plan. She executed that plan. She was not playing. It's family over everything, so I am here for her, and I miss her. Number 3 is Daenerys Targaryen, and I love Kelsee because she has a plan as well. She's a person who is strong. She knows what she wants. She asks for help when she needs it, but that attitude is gonna get her in trouble. I'm rooting for Kelsee. Number 2 is Arya Stark, and Arya, my, has she grown. If you guys are all caught up on the episodes, then you know she's blossomed in more than one way, and I was like, whoa now. So I love Arya. I love that she's a fighter. I love that she's loyal. I love that she sticks to what she says she's gonna do. And overall, I think she's badass. And my number 1 character that I love to hate is Cersei Lannister, because Cersei is so conniving, but yet I still find myself feeling sorry for her at times. I still find myself understanding what she's going through, and I think that really speaks to the actress that plays her, because she plays her. I love all of the things that she's gone through, all of the bad things that she's done. Like, she's not really a good person, but she's a good character. You never know her plan until she lets you know her plan. I cannot wait to see how this whole thing plays out. If you guys want to have a conversation about it down in the comment section, if you have watched episode 3 of the final season and you want to talk about it, let me know down in the comment section, because I think it is about to go down. But make sure you put spoiler alert for anybody who's not caught up if you guys want to talk about it. So now I'm going to tell you all my final thoughts on everything. So I feel like it's obvious that I really like this palette because of the theme of it, but putting my fangirlness to the side, let's talk about the formulation of the eyeshadows. Looking at the palette, I think the palette is absolutely gorgeous. I think that the colors pop. I like that I'm able to create so many different eye looks, and I still think that I could do even more eye looks than what I did in this video, because there's such a nice variance of tones. It has pops of colors in here. It has everything you need to do basic eye looks and then build on if you wanted to do more dramatic eye looks. It has a little bit of something in here for everybody. Now, I know a lot of people are like, is it similar to the Born to Run palette? And I have that palette, so I can compare it for you guys. So here we have Born to Run, and here we have the Game of Thrones palette. As you all can see, there's a similarity in color stories, but to me these palettes differ enough to justify getting them both, because even though there's colors that are similar, they're not the exact same colors. And to be honest guys, there's only so many colors that there are in general. There's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. That's it. I would say if you're a person who has the Born to Run palette and you don't use it, you might not need the Game of Thrones palette if you're just not a collector. But I do feel like these colors are formulated different, and I do feel like the tones differ enough for you guys to justify having both. I will say I think that the Born to Run palette is a little bit more smoothly formulated than the Game of Thrones palette overall, because I feel like a lot of the shades in the Game of Thrones palette are a little bit chunkier and they have more prominent glitter flakes in them. And the Born to Run palette does have more matte eyeshadows in there, because the Game of Thrones palette only has 3 matte eyeshadows. So if you're a person who enjoys more mattes, you are not going to like this palette because it is predominantly glitter or shimmery type eyeshadows. Focusing back on the Game of Thrones palette, like I said, I do feel like there's chunkier glitter flakes in this palette, especially with the Transformer shades down here. I applied some of these with a hydrating mist, and I feel like that gave me a smoother look. It allowed these eyeshadows to foil more, and it binded the pigments together, so it gave me a more intense and unified eye look. The mattes in here blended out beautifully. They gave a very nice smooth blend, but there's not a lot of them in here. I love the palette though. I feel like the eyeshadows in here are really pretty. I love the color story, but I think I really enjoy the palette because I'm such a big fan of the show and because I want to keep it as a collector's item. So I love the palette. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones and you like makeup, I would definitely recommend for you guys to get the palette. If you're not a fan of Game of Thrones and you're looking at the eyeshadow palette and you're like, which one should I get? Should I get the Game of Thrones or should I get the Born to Run? I still would say get Game of Thrones just because it's limited edition and the Born to Run palette is permanent. And if you change your mind down the road, you can always get this palette, but this palette is not going to be around for long. Overall, I think the palette is dope. I love the design of it. I love the looks that I got from it. I look forward to reading what you guys think about it down in the comment section, and I will check you all at my very next video, which will be super soon. Smooches. Bye.